What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight... Okay, we're coming back to Asterism. Yes, indeed. Asterism Fans feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to do all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-boobity bop, do me a favor. Before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This is a request from Aaron T. Rocks and David Ornberg. They both want to see me react to this song by Asterism called Light in the Darkness. Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a minute, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This was posted by Asterism, okay? And the video has 3,000 views. Not gonna get you there, sorry. Look, I'm sure the song is fine, I'm sure the video is fine, I'm just saying 3,000 views, it's not gonna get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Light in the Darkness. Cool, that's all I got. It does say Asterism here, so I can only assume we're in the right spot, so I guess we'll find out. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Really nice. really nice. I'm digging everything she's doing as far as her solo work goes. Everything she's doing on her soloing sounds fantastic. I can hear a lot of tapping being done, both with finger. Here's the thing. you can hear a difference. Some of the tapping she's doing is with her fingers, and some of the tapping she's actually doing with her pick, hammering the pick against the neck. You can hear the difference. And they're both sounding great. Some great pinch harmonic work, some great sweep picking. Her solo work all sounds really good. When she goes into chords, if I'm being honest here, it does sound a little muddy. Now, that has nothing to do with her playing. That has everything to do with her tone. I do feel like her guitar is a little overdriven, a little too much distortion. They could have cut back on distortion a little bit, maybe switch to a different patch when she's going to go into the chords. I think that might have been a better selection. Something not as distorted because it is a little muddy, but her solo work is fantastic. Drumming and bass playing both sound great. I love when the drummer went to that double kick and I was listening for the bass player to see what he was going to do. And he was right there with the double kick. He was fingering. He must be using all four fingers because it was right with the double kick. I mean, he must have been doing all four because it was right with it. Very, very cool. Very, very tight. And it absolutely sounded great behind what was happening in the guitar. So, yeah, man, good stuff. Let's keep going. I'm glad we got to see the bass player shine right there. That was great. Loved hearing that. Again, going back to the guitar, the clean patch underneath the bass sounded great. I loved that. Unfortunately, underneath the clean patch, we still had that muddy distortion patch though. And I was like, just get rid of that. You don't even need it. You got the guitar with the clean patch, just stick with that. That would have been much better. It kind of interfered with what the bass player was doing a little, just ever so slightly, that muddy distortion patch. Really wish it had not been there. But from what I could hear cleanly from the bass player, it sounded great. Loved it. Nice melodic bass solo, which I could absolutely appreciate. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. I love that main groove. That sounds great. Wish we could have heard more of that, but that's all right. It's okay. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Asterism with Light in the Darkness. This was a request from Aaron T. Rocks and David Ornberg. Okay, I got a score here, and let's just get right to it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.3. Yep, 8.3. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, I know a lot of people right now are going, 8.3, isn't that kind of low? To be honest with you, yes it is. It's a little bit lower than I'm sure a lot of people are expecting, myself included. I'm gonna get to the reason why towards the end, okay? But I promise I will explain that. The song as a whole, great song. Some fantastic solo work from the guitar player. She is a real dynamo, man. She is. And it just seems like, you know, the farther along she goes in her career, the better she gets. And I can absolutely appreciate that, and I hope it continues. Same thing can be said for the bass player. Same thing can be said for the drummer. Bass player and drummer were locked in the entire song, which was nice. Even when the bass player went up to do his little melodic solo, as soon as he was done, he was right back locked in with the drummer again, and I can absolutely appreciate that. As a bass player myself, it's important to be able to lock back in with your drummer. If you're going to do a little solo, hey, that's great. No problem with that. But as soon as you're done, lock back in as quickly as possible. And that happened. Really impressed by the double kick. When the double kick was going, you could hear the bass player right there with them in unison. Not playing eighths. He was playing the 16ths right with him. And only thing I can think of is he was using all 4 fingers. It's the only thing I can think of, because it was right there. The guitar player using a variety of techniques, and you could hear it. I mean, it's kind of a shame we couldn't see it, but I mean, you could hear it though. Even when it came to the tapping, you could hear a distinctive difference between when she was tapping with her fingers and when she was using the pick to do the tapping. You could hear the difference, and it was really nice. Some great sweep picking I heard. Some great hammer-ons and pull-offs. The tapping obviously was dominated through pretty much all the solo work. There was a lot of tapping. Some good pinch harmonics. I mean, everything sounded great. Now, here's the thing. I loved the main groove of the song. When you heard at the end, I wish we could have heard a little more of that. I only heard it happen like 2 times, and it was kind of a bummer because when it went into that little bit of a halftime feel with that, you know, halftime backbeat on the snare drive, you know, snare on the 2s and the 4s, man, that felt good. And I wish we could have heard more of that. But it's okay. We heard some great solo work instead. Now, I really did want to give them a higher score. I did. And I started out, honestly, I started out at about an 8.8. And the score kept coming down. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, the most prominent one, I liked the tone that she was using for her solo work. When the bass player went up and did his bass solo, she had a clean patch for one layering of guitar. That sounded fantastic. When she was not soloing and she was not using the clean patch, she was using a distortion patch to play just chords. A little too much distortion, in all honesty. It got muddy. It absolutely got muddy. And here's the thing. If it just happened in one spot of the song, like let's say it just happened in like one section, one little place, I could be a lot more forgiving. But unfortunately, it was through the entire song, and it was a distraction. I mean, to the point where there were times where when the bass player was doing his thing, it got buried because the distortion patch was so muddy on the guitar player's part. So that's one of the reasons why the score came down. Another reason that the score was not quite as high as people would expect, myself included, Asterism has achieved something that a few other bands on the channel have achieved. They have become what I like to call victims of their own success. If this had been the very first thing I had heard from Asterism, would we be looking at a higher score? Yes, we would. We absolutely would. We would be looking at, even with that muddiness, we still would be looking at probably about an 8.7 to an 8.8, somewhere in there, okay? Even with the muddiness. Now, if the muddiness had not been there, and this was the first time I heard it, we'd be up in the 9s, okay? Here's the problem. They have set a bar for themselves. You know, there is a certain level of expectation now with these cats, and unfortunately, they are victims of their own success. And now it's like, okay, I've heard them do this before. I've heard this before. Not necessarily the song, but there's nothing that they're doing that I haven't heard them do before. What else can they do? You know, I'm curious to see what else they can pull off. Does that take anything away from this song? No, not at all. It's a great song. But now it's not quite as impressive because I've heard them do similar things before. I've had them on the channel several times, and every single time it's been impressive. But now it's not as impressive because I've heard it. I've heard them do it. I've seen them do it. So it's unfortunate. And it's not fair. It's absolutely not fair. I will be the first to admit it's not fair. Folks, life is not fair. And unfortunately, there's good and there's bad. The good thing is they have set a bar for themselves, a certain level of expectation that you see Asterism, you expect greatness, you know, and they're going to deliver every single time. They are. And so far, they have not disappointed. The downside is, the flip side of it is, unfortunately, because they have set that bar, because they have set that expectation, you expect nothing less. And even coming up to the same level as they did before is just, it's not going to be as good. It's going to fall short. It's unfortunate. It's not fair. It's not right, but it is what it is. So I'm sorry, guys, but an 8.3, look, it's a great score nonetheless, okay? I really hope we see more from them. I do, and who knows, maybe they'll do some stuff that's even more impressive. At that point, we are going to go up into the higher scores again, I guarantee it. But as it stands right now, 8.3, I feel good with that score, and that is where we're going to stay. So, 8.3, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.